Annyeonghaseyo! Welcome to Afternoona Delight, where Leah, Megan, and Amy, romance novelists, and your K-romance guides. So grab some dekboki and listen to your new favorite Ateez. Hello!
Hi, Megan!
Oh, we missed the hey, everybody!
I know. We're missing Leah tonight. Yeah, it's like all the kids get sick season.
Yeah, I mean, she was going to record tonight. She was ready to go, but yeah, there was kind of like a family emergency. Everything is okay, but she's busy. We miss her, but I think we can hold it down. I think she still actually had 2 more episodes of this drama that we're going to talk about tonight to watch. So
but she did say she's happy she's watching it because
she did. She said it's really good.
Because it is.
It is, but we were worried about her reaction.
Yes.
So I do have to tell you. So we're talking tonight about A Time Called You, and so Amy watched it first, right? You watched it first.
I forgot what drama. It was something that we were doing for the pod, and I had I had just finished a drama and didn't have any homework, right, for the pod.
Right.
And A Time Called You had just dropped. Like, mind you all, this dropped the first weekend in September, right? So I was like, you know what? I'd seen a trailer for it. I'm like, this looks so good. I don't know what's happening, but it's time travel and it's romance and it looks amazing and it's on your sup. And so I'm gonna, I'm just gonna check out the first episode. Mm-hmm. And I binged the entire series. I mean, it's only 12 episodes, but I binged it that weekend.
Yeah. And I think you and Megan from Afternoona Army had watched it, right? Because she was watching it too. Okay.
So she had watched like the first episode or so and then had kind of like abandoned it for something else. And I thought that she was watching it around the same time I was. So I messaged her. She's like, you know what? I started, then I need to go back or whatever. And then she binged the hell out of it too. And we both were just going crazy talking about it. And I was like, I need Megan and Leah to watch this. Like, we have to do this for the pod because I can't stop thinking about this drama.
Right. So I did watch it and I loved it. I mean, I binged it very quickly. It's 12 episodes, which
and lately they're less than an hour. They're less than an hour each.
And I'm all about like the 12 episode dramas lately are like, that's my wheelhouse. Like
it's my sweet spot. Like that.
It is.
Yeah, for sure.
Like now I see 16 and I'm like,
16 and they're like an hour 20 and I'm like, what are we doing here? Really?
Yeah. Do we need it? So it has been since September, but it's again, like, even though we record once a week, like we get backlogged. Like we have seen things that we're like, oh my God, we still need to record. I think we've talked before about how we do write scripts for the show, just so we're not like just rambling.
These episodes would be 7 hours long if we didn't have a script.
It would be bad. And also, we just want to make sure we cover stuff. And a lot of times we'll type up I usually don't like verbatim read what I write. I don't think any of us really do, but we at least have some sort of like idea of what we're going to say. So
I typed up nothing for tonight as far as my responses because I typed the script and I'm already like eyes bugging out of my head.
So I was terrified I was going to be on this script. And I didn't want to do it because I didn't even know where to start. So luckily Amy was up. We have like we have a schedule, and luckily Amy was on the schedule to do the script. And I was like, thank God. So she sends the script today and I open it up.
I sent it last night.
I sent it last night.
It was late. It was late, but I sent it last night.
I just like my eyes started like rolling in the back of my head. I was like, oh my God, I forgot how confusing this drama was.
It was a fever dream to write this script.
She did a great job. Like, Amy did a fantastic job with the script. It's very thorough. It's very amazing. But I couldn't even type up responses because I was like, I don't even know where to start. And so I'm going to wing it tonight. And I never do, just so you know. I almost always type up my answers.
What? I'm so detailed in the questions because I wrote a lot of summary. And for those of you who've seen the drama, you understand that like, having not watched this in September and having watched it like in a matter of like 2 to 3 days, I had to like this drama was a mind fuck. Like
absolutely. This in the
best way. But like there was no way that I could just talk about this drama without rehashing the bananas logic.
I mean, the script is a bit of a mind fuck, but like Leah kind of she usually just pulls a thesis out of her ass while we're recording. I don't know how she does it. I can't do that. But tonight, this is the deal. Tonight, I'm going to go with the flow. I'm just going to inhabit the vibes of A Time Called You, and I'm gonna just go with the flow, and recall what I can. Because I think I also watched this drama in a fever dream.
Oh, it is a fever dream.
Yeah, like the entire drama. The entire drama is a 12-hour long movie. Like, truly, it's a 12-hour long movie.
And if you haven't watched it, you guys, like, it's in my top, I'd say it's in my top 5. Because this is a drama that, like, I've not been able to stop thinking about.
And it's not episodic in any way.
No.
So that's what I'm saying. It feels like I'm just watching a movie for 12 hours. And, like, I'm not complaining. It was great. And I actually thought it was really a good length. I didn't think it felt rushed. I mean, we'll get to it, but I don't know. It's not in my top 5, but, and I don't think about it as much as I thought I would, but I think now that we talk about it, it seems like once we record on a drama, that's when I start thinking about it and talking. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like then
when we did Rain or Shine last week, I was like, oh, I love this drama more than I even thought that I did. You know what I mean?
There's something about recording.
Yeah.
That stimulates some part of my brain when it comes to the drama, and then I think about the drama more.
Or we realize how much we hated it.
Well, and
that has happened too. Like, when we've been recording, I'm like, my God, I thought I didn't like this drama. I fucking hate it.
I remember, I forget what drama it was now, but I was like, I wrote to you guys in Slack, and I was like, I like this drama, and I just started complaining about it, and Leah's like, are you sure you like it? Because I don't think you do. I forget what it was.
Okay, so, like, I think Black Knight was a good example of that. Like, where you and I could not stop talking about it. We couldn't stop watching it. And then we recorded it. We're like, this was ridiculous. Like,
yeah.
Like, we didn't hate it by any means. Like, it was entertaining and it kept me hooked and I loved everybody in it. But, like,
same.
It was ridiculous.
It was, and it wasn't like really good. Actually,
no.
you know, I have not thought about Black Knight.
Well, no, why would you?
Yeah. I have actually not thought about it. So, which is, there's the testament. Like I think I've said this before. If a drama is going to fall in my top 10, it has to be a drama that, like, I think about a lot. And obviously, I think about I Am Not a Robot all the time. And it has to be, like, scenes have to come to mind easily and things like that. So, which Rain or Shine has stuck with me. Yeah. And again, I watched it a while ago. Yeah, months and months ago. And that is a drama that stuck with me, which, yeah. And I think A Time Called You, now that we discuss it, I think I'm going to think about it more.
Well, I was going to say, Rain or Shine, having watched it months ago, you were still able to recall it. We talked about it last week without homework.
Whereas, I did do a pretty good job remembering it.
But I'm saying, like, because it's like a logical drama and it, and it, like, it follows, like, science.
It does. It is logical.
But you know what? I love a mind fuck of a drama. And I mean, we'll talk about that. And that was one of the things that Leah was worried about. Like, she was like, I don't enjoy being confused. So I am interested to just even talk to her privately about, like, did she hate the confusion part of it? Because for me, it was like, I don't know what's going on and I love it, you know?
I think it was the Swoon Diaries pod, but I'm pretty sure she just posted on her stories that she's watching it. And she's like, I'm so irritated that I'm just confused. Like, she's like, I just don't, and I get it. Like, I totally get it. It's frustrating to be confused. So if you're, like, not in the mood to, like, puzzle something out, like, this isn't for you. You know?
But here's what I'll say, and we'll get to it when we start actually getting to the script, which we haven't yet. The blurb for this drama, whether it's on Netflix or Asian Wiki or whatever, the blurb gives away the big conceit. Like, and I must not have read it because there is definitely some gaslighting in the first episode.
See, I didn't read it. I avoided everything about this drama.
I think you should. So that's the thing is, like, when we get to talking about the drama, I don't know. I'm probably not going to read the blurb word for word because I don't want to spoil it for you all who haven't watched it, because I think it's good to go into this not knowing, because it is supposed to, like, unfold. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I had so many, like, loud gasps that, which I enjoyed. So, yeah. All right, well, let's get into it, man.
All right.
I'm excited.
I am too, but yeah, I mean, like, honestly, folks, like, writing the script was homework. Like
Yes.
it was literally
Honestly,
it was like me my senior year of college, like whipping out an 8-page like literary criticism paper overnight, which was like my MO in college.
I still remember in college. I don't think my husband, he was my boyfriend in college. I don't think he actually wrote many papers. I'm not really sure what he did and how he graduated, but you know, he did it. Well, I mean, he did his work in like his major, but if it was like the gen ed courses, he just didn't really, you know. And I still remember, I think we had the same gen ed course. It was like a history course or political science or, you know what I mean? One of those. And, I had already finished my paper because I'm a do-gooder, and he had not. And he was like, it's fine. I'm just going to do it the night before. And I'm like, okay. I mean, I don't think you should wait till the last minute. He got the flu.
Oh,
like
no.
Full on flu. I go over to his dorm room, which I'm not sure why at the time. Why would I go over there? But I did. I went over there, and I still remember he would type, turn in his chair, throw up in his trash can, turn back to his computer, and keep typing.
And you were there while this was happening? Just chilling?
I think I felt bad. I think I went over to like, I don't know, like take care, which I didn't take care of him. What was I even doing? I don't know. I was 18 and I was
being a very good K-drama girlfriend if you were taking care of him.
I was 18 and in love, so I was like, oh, I'll just sit here with you while you puke in your trash can and write your paper. I think it was like on the Taliban. I mean, I can't imagine. Anyway, so thank God you didn't have the flu.
No, I didn't.
Which is what's raging in Leah's house.
I know that is like it's something. Yeah. No, I was an English major, so I wrote overnight papers all the time.
Right. I'm sure you did. Yeah.
And you know that prepared me well for being a fiction writer because it's often me like the night before deadline.
Mm-hmm. That's what we do late in the night.
Anyway, don't tell our editors. Okay. So let's get into it. So as always, we will start with a spoiler-free discussion of the drama, A Time Called You, and then give you a heads up before we start spilling all the tea. Before we begin, I do want to point out that this drama does deal with some heavy issues like murder and suicide. So if that will be triggering or upsetting for you in any way, we wanted to mention it up front so that you're prepared for this drama and this episode of the pod. So like I said, pretty much everywhere I looked, like Drama Beans has a great blurb for A Time Called You. Netflix even had a good blurb, but I don't want to read it because it gives a lot away. So I'll say this. A Time Called You is a remake of the Taiwanese drama Someday or One Day. And I will just say it's a time travel romance. That's all I'm going to tell you right now. I don't want to give anything else away. The time travel part of it is not a secret. I feel like everything else that kind of unfolds is. So I don't want to go there. I don't want to tell you. Okay. And I'm telling y'all, don't read the blurb. Just go watch because I thought it was a hell of a lot of fun to just be in it and have it unravel. So there you go. Mm-hmm. I'll say this. This is the last line of the blurb. It says, and so begins a tragic and fated love story that spans decades and defies all logic. Okay. Thanks
for giving us the heads up.
Yes. So that's Drama Beans gave us that. And you know what? That is the operative phrase here. So I watched it first, like we were saying. And I remember that after I finished the first episode, I messaged you guys in Slack and said something to the extent of, I have no freaking clue what I just watched or what the hell is going on, but I'm hooked.
Yeah. And you did. And I was like, well, that's usually, that's a green flag for me. Like then I'm excited.
Yeah. So, okay. So that's my first question is, let's talk about logic. Like love it or leave it as far as stories that mess with your head and make you wonder if you'll ever figure out what exactly you're, reading or watching. Like you like that?
I actually do like that. And I think the reason I like that is because I love to be surprised. I love to be surprised a lot. And I'm like, no one's ever thrown me a surprise party. And that's really all I wanted in my life.
I do not like,
really?
I do not want to be surprised like that. In entertainment, sure, surprise me, but I do not want to be caught off guard. What if I'm not wearing the right thing? What if somebody takes a candid picture of me and I'm at a weird that's what goes through my head. Like, no.
Yeah. I do. I love a good surprise. If you tell me, it depends. If you tell me this is like crazy sci-fi confusing, I don't like spaceships and weird technology that's not always up my alley. But if you tell me, like, yeah, this is confusing in relation to time travel, that intrigues me. Like, yeah, then I want to know more. I don't always mind when things don't make sense. Sometimes I love when things are just fucking bonkers.
Yeah, I do. I love bonkers, but not in real life. Okay, so to piggyback off of that, what is a logic-bending Western story, movie, show that you have enjoyed? Or, one of each. There's only 2 of us tonight, so we can embellish if we want to.
Yeah. So Westworld was one. Did you ever watch Westworld?
I didn't. I heard it was good and then it got bad.
So I only watched the first season of Westworld. I didn't keep going, even though I liked season 1, but I will tell you, it is, episode 1's a mindfuck. And like, I loved it. And so I would say the reason I didn't watch season 2 is because season 2 started to get panned. And I was like, you know what? I don't want it to ruin, I don't want to ruin it because in all honesty, season 1 was fucking badass. So I would say, here's the thing. I need to be entertained. So if you're just being confusing for the sake of being confusing and also it's slow, then I'm not going to be interested. I need things to be snappy if you're going to confuse me. Does that make sense? And I need you to throw in some action. There's got to be like some sort of gunfight. You got to fist fight. You got to keep me, entertained. And then I'm kind of willing to like stick with the confusion. And A Time Called You, what kept me hooked was the romance portion. So, which that's all I'm going to say about it because we're still in the non-spoilers, but I'm saying there needs to be something else there.
Yeah.
To keep me hooked. I would say, there's plenty of, I just said that I don't really love the confusion of like sci-fi stuff, but Event Horizon was another one that was just like a total
100%
crazy defying logic movie. And I still thought it was freaking fantastic and scared the shit out of me.
Yep.
So yeah, I like that, but I need it to still hold my interest as well. There's got to be some other hook in there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, so one that I'm going to bring up, which I think you would love, but it's one of those that you would have to give an episode or 2. And it's Severance on Apple Plus.
Oh, I've heard about that.
So, and I will say that it was recommended to me by a friend who was like, who knows that I like, stuff like this. And it was like, I can't tell you really much about it because you have to just let it unfold. But it starts and you're like, what the actual fuck? And just to give, if you haven't watched Severance, if you have, you know what I mean. If you haven't, so here's the sort of conceit of Severance that you can know going into it. So the lead in it is Adam Scott. So, Ben Wyatt from Parks and Rec.
Yeah, I love him.
From lots of things. And I love Adam Scott. So it could be contemporary times. It could be like a little bit in the future, but there is a new sort of medical technology called Severance that you can choose to get if you want. And basically it is this procedure that, when you go to work in this specific company, when you enter the building and you put all your stuff in your locker and you hop in the elevator and you go down to your floor, there is like a chemical reaction in your brain. Something is activated. And when you hit that certain spot, you don't remember your life outside of the building. You only know your work life.
How did I not know this about Severance? I thought it was just an office drama.
No. Oh
my God. Wait a minute.
And then
no one told me this.
And then when you leave work and you go back up the elevator, you know your life outside of work. And you know that you've had the severance procedure, but your brain is split, basically.
Wow.
It's bonkers, and it's a short series. It's like 9 episodes. Mm-hmm. And it was one of those things where I told my kids about it. My kids are teens and they love mind-bendy stuff like this. And we started watching it, and the first episode is slow, and it's because you don't know what the hell is going on. But it's slow, but it's also weird. Like weird as fuck from the beginning. Mm-hmm. And then as it starts unfolding, there's like a mystery to be solved, and like, it's a very political thing, this procedure. Like there are people who are very anti-severance, and then it ends on a huge cliffy, and it's wild and so good.
Yeah, that does sound good.
Yeah, no, I think you would really like it. It's only 9 episodes. And it was the situation was like, my kids and I were up. It was like 1 a.m. and we were on the second to last episode and we were all falling asleep. And we're like, fine, tomorrow morning, as soon as we wake up. And literally, like, I'm the first one up because I always am. And they're teenagers. Then they wake up and like one comes down and finally the second one comes down. They're like, Severance? Like, we could not wait. And then we finished it.
Oh, cool.
And we're like, bam.
Yeah.
And then also I'll just add to that, like, any movie by Christopher Nolan. Like, Memento, The Prestige.
Memento.
Yeah. Inception.
How did I forget all of those?
Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
Interstellar with Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
Tenet was like a huge mind fuck. And it was one of those things where we watched it at night and then watched it again the next morning because we had to like reprocess. I love shit like that. So yeah, this is totally my thing.
I didn't think about Christopher Nolan. I mean, I would say that the closest to, Memento and Inception are both so fucking good. I mean, and both, I would say, if you like Inception and Memento and you like romance, like A Time Called You is going to fit right in. Yeah. Like that. And I can't believe I was like, oh yeah, what are some those movies? That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. One thing I didn't say about Westworld, just FYI, it's about robots. So essentially it's like almost this like robot amusement park that people can visit. But what's weird is
they look human.
They look human. Yeah. And, they don't really know they're robots, or some of them know they're robots, but then some of them don't know they're robots. And it's like, there's some crazy twists and reveals. And I think the weird thing is too, is like, it starts over every day. Like, it's, you know what I mean? So there's like this like Groundhog Day feel to it. Yeah. It's really, really cool. I really liked the first season of Westworld.
Okay. I really do think you would like Severance, and I think you should watch it.
Yeah, that sounds really good. I honestly, no one ever told me the plot. And I fully thought it was just like an office, like a serious office.
No, it is.
And I just wasn't into that.
Wild.
Okay, cool. That sounds good.
Okay. So the specific defiance of logic in A Time Called You is time travel and something else that I won't bring up because, like I said, I'm not going to give away that conceit. So what's a time travel story that you've enjoyed? Whether it's like, well, we get to K-drama stuff in a little bit. So let's still stick in the Western world for just a minute more. Mm-hmm. Something time travel that you've liked.
So I'm going to answer the question, but also like indirectly not answer the question. So we've talked a little bit about The Butterfly Effect before on this podcast. That is a movie with Ashton Kutcher. Basically didn't his girlfriend die? So he tries to go back in time.
And it's like you changed one thing and then
but isn't that why he went back in the first place? I don't remember. There's some reason. It's based on it's a romance. Like he does everything for like the love of his life. And so he figures out how to time travel. He goes back in time to like save her or fix her. I forget. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, he would change one little thing and then there would be this like ripple effect. And that movie traumatized me. Like the fact that I just think about the one time where he finds her. He got back time. He thought he saved her, and he like finds her in some hotel. She opens up the door and she's like on death's door. She's like a serious drug addict. It's just, seriously addicted to drugs. And it is like there's so many things that he fucks up. Ugh. Anyway, so I constantly think about time, like I think about that because I'm like, how is that going to affect what's going forward? Like My Perfect Stranger was like that. That is a K-drama, but same thing. There was like ways that they were affecting the future. And I just have to say though, because this is what I was thinking about, was how we haven't covered Tale of the Nine-Tailed 1938 yet.
No, I still haven't finished it, and I know. To.
But I have to tell you, the way that they handled time travel,
it's hilarious.
Cracked me up because they literally say in the drama, anything we do now, it doesn't affect the future. They're just like, fuck it. We're not going to try and figure it out.
No, they don't. They use no science at all.
They use no science, and they're just like, you know what? You're just going to accept it because watching this, you're only watching this to watch watch Erong and Eon just like run around and be hot. Like that's the only reason you're watching this. So we're not even going to try and pretend like this logically makes sense. We're just going to tell you that it doesn't affect the future at all. It's still the funniest way that I've seen anything like deal with time travel. What was that? Because I would say in Western world, I don't really watch a lot of time travel. I never watched Outlander.
I didn't either.
Did I say
I didn't
the name
watch
right?
it or read it. Yeah, I didn't watch it
Outlander?
or read it. Outlander.
Yeah, I just was never really, I don't know. Time travel just wasn't like a thing that interested me, but for some reason I just love how K-dramas do it.
I've always enjoyed time travel. I mean, way back, to Back to the Future when I was a kid.
Oh, well, I love that.
Back to the Future, but even like now, like, okay, so in case you don't know me, I'm a Marvel fan. And the Disney Plus series Loki, which had 2 seasons, is all about time travel and like policing, like, the branches of time and stuff like that. And I love it. And they try to get sciencey about it, which is also, what I love because it's super nerdy. And it's Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson, and they're like the bromance you never knew you needed. And then Kihei Kwan's in the second season, and it's fantastic. But anyway, yeah, I love mind-bendy, like time travel stuff like that. I like when they put rules with it because then things can get messed up.
Right.
There's a Michael Crichton book called Timeline that they made into a movie, and the movie was not good, but the book itself was really good.
I used to love Michael Crichton.
Oh yeah,
books.
I was
read
like a
them.
Michael Crichton, like,
yeah, I was a big fangirl.
Big fangirl.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember the book entirely because I read it like probably 30 years ago. But yeah, I mean, like stuff like where there's rules, like the butterfly effect, like if you step on a leaf, like that's going to change, the entirety of the future.
And I still think about that sometimes where I'm like, what if I had like waited to like the next light to like walk across the street? Like how would that have affected like someone else? And what if they bumped into me? How would that affect the rest of their day? Like I think about these things all the time.
Well, it's funny because my daughter is reading a book right now. She's listening to a book. So here's the fun thing. I just started working part-time again at my local library, which I worked at before the pandemic, and I'm working there like one night a week. And it happens to be the same night that my daughter works there as a library page where she, just puts carts of books away and stuff like that. Like the best high school job ever. So she just puts on her headphones and gets to listen to an audiobook. So I'm like, what are you listening to? And she went into my Audible, to just see what I had. And I'd just been talking about this Taylor Jenkins Reid book that I gave to someone as a gift called Maybe in Another Life. And it is, like her inspiration for the book is the movie Sliding Doors with Gwyneth Paltrow, if you ever saw that, which is like dual timelines. It's like the way that Sliding Doors happens is she comes home early from work or from something and finds her boyfriend having sex with another woman. And it follows like 2 different decisions that she makes, like to dump him or to not dump him.
Okay, I don't think I've ever seen that.
I think one is she comes home early and one she doesn't catch him cheating. It's something like that. So one is her life if she stayed with him, and one is her life if she, tossed him out on his ass. And so this book is like that. And she's never read anything like this. And so she's like, this is bonkers. Cause like it keeps going back and forth between the 2 timelines and like how vastly different her life is from making one decision, in this book, which is either to like go home with her ex-boyfriend or not, which is a very similar thing. And she's like, it's just like, it's like whiplashing me, but like in a good way.
Yeah.
And I love that kind of stuff. That's like, what if like one little decision changes everything?
What's that movie with Keanu Reeves? Is it Keanu Reeves with like the letter in the mailbox?
Lake House.
That's
yeah, where
it.
they're in different times, but they're connected to the mailbox. And that's
makes,
so romancy, and I loved it.
I know, but those that like it makes my heart ache. Oh, because I'm like, if they were at the same time and they can never meet, like it's just so like.
No, that ends happily. That one ends happily.
It does, but while you're watching it, it's like
you're like, how could it?
Yeah,
because they're not, their timelines aren't that off. Like they're not like, like generations apart or anything like that.
Right. So I have never written a time travel romance. Have you?
No, but I was asking that so that Leah could talk about her book that she just sold. So Leah is going to be writing a time travel book. So just y'all look out for it.
She's writing it right now.
Yeah, she is.
Basically.
Yeah.
And it's going to be awesome.
It's a romance. I'm so excited. It's like
Leah writes very interesting characters. Like they're characters that I don't think you read about a lot. Like she has a way of writing characters with very specific quirks. And
I was going to say, she's a whiz at characterization.
And they always feel very unique to me. Yes. And so I think this is actually really perfect for her. And I think she's going to nail it. And I can't wait.
Yeah. So that was me trying to give Leah a chance to talk about her book, but she's not here. So we'll talk about it for her.
We tried, Leah.
I would love to write something with time travel. Like I loved the book The Time Traveler's Wife, which I think is a really good comp for this drama. But I would want to follow rules, and I feel like that would be so hard. Like it hurts my head to watch something like this, so I can't even fathom writing it.
Yeah.
So here's a question specifically for you, Megan.
Yeah.
So you hated An Bo-hyun, a 35-year-old man, playing himself as a teenager.
I hated it.
In See You in My 19th Life. What did you think of Jun Bin, a 34-year-old woman, playing both Han Jun-hee, a woman in her 30s, and Kwon Min-ju, a teenage girl?
Yeah, so, okay, here's the thing. I don't think An Bo-hyun was, like, ever a teenager. I think he just, like, was born a full-fledged 35-year-old man, okay?
And we love him like that. Like
we love him like that.
I can picture, like, listeners, like, squirming as I'm asking that question, thinking, like, what does Megan hate about An Bo-hyun?
I know. No, I love him. I was just like, why are they putting him in a school? I mean, he looks 35.
He looks 35.
I love him for it.
I didn't care, but he looks 35.
He's not Song Joong Ki with like this like baby face. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I love An Bo-hyun.
He's a big manly man.
He's a big manly man, and you put him. I'm sorry, it looked ludicrous, and he had to like throw a tantrum. And I was like, really? 35-year-old An Bo-hyun is throwing a tantrum in a school uniform. Like, I'm sorry. I didn't like it. It just didn't work. Whereas Jun Bin, there was some, I don't know how she did it. I will be perfectly honest with you. I was like fucked up. There were several times where I thought it was a
two different
actress.
People.
I thought it was a different actress, and I knew it wasn't. Like, I was fully aware this is like the same actress. And I don't know. I just think she was, well, they gave her a different haircut. They gave her, like, she had a little bit different hair. She had bangs. But there was something about, and I'm not saying that An Bo-hyun can't act, okay?
No,
I just
he can't.
think
but like,
it's the way
there's no makeup you can put on him.
There's no makeup you can put on him to make him look like a 16-year-old. Like, I am sorry, he is fucking 35. Whereas Jun Bin she still had these like soft facial features. She looks like her age is incredibly ambiguous in real life.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, I've seen her in real life or you know what I mean? I've seen her at like an award show, and I'm like, yeah, she could be 20 or 45. I mean, I have no freaking idea. Like, she's just, so and there's just the way she played these two, she was playing two distinct characters in one body, and it was like nuts. It was really nuts. And, that's really all I can say is that I was fine with it. And then, this isn't a spoiler, but An Hyo-sup also plays both a teenager and himself. That's not a spoiler. You see that.
I just didn't make this question about him because I was just so enamored with her.
Oh,
and
incredibly.
What she did. Yeah.
He's a little bit of a different story, just based,
he's also younger than,
he's younger, yeah, and he looks young. Yeah. Like, he looks young. Like, in honesty, I'm like, are you 18? Like, I mean, so in like real life, like, just the whole thing, it was strictly An Bo-hyun. Like, it'd be like putting Gong Yoo in a school uniform and trying to make him look like a teenager and throwing a tantrum about like his like mean mommy. Like, yeah, I can't. Like, I can't, it just doesn't, I'm sorry, it doesn't work.
No.
So, but
I honestly had to ask that though, because it cracked me up.
Oh, she is, I mean, I knew it was the same actress, and yet there were several times I looked at the screen, I'm like, wait a minute, did they put a different actress in there? That's how much she transformed herself to play these two different people.
Even so, my daughter walked in the room when I was watching at one point, and it was back in the 1998, part of the drama. And I said, you see that like 17-year-old girl right there? She's like, yeah. I said, that actress is 34 years old. She's like, no, she's not. I'm like, yes, she is. She's 34 years old. And like, she absolutely thought it was a teenager on the screen. Yeah,
it's nuts. And she really nailed this role. I don't know if she will get nominated. I hope she does. I mean, the effort she put into this to play
is amazing.
Oh my God,
is amazing. Like,
she played essentially
I bow down to her because she was phenomenal.
She played almost like 3 different roles, basically.
Yeah. She was so good.
So what would be a good drama comp for A Time Called You?
So another drama that I always have to credit Grace from Afternoona Asks with this, because she got us to watch Go Back Couple.
Yeah. Thank you for mentioning it.
Yes. So Go Back Couple is a time travel romance, totally different spin. Like this is a teenage romance into adulthood type thing. And Go Back Couple is a married couple on the brink of divorce who both travel back in time, both realize that each other are back in time, and they hate each other and try to avoid each other. And it's like this sort of, re-meeting of each other as college students. And it was just a beautiful, beautiful story. There's something about time travel and romance. I don't know. Just those two together just really get me.
Yeah. I've said before, My Perfect Stranger, I would say the romance between like the quote leads was very weak and I was not into it. But there's kind of like a secondary romance between like the lead's parents because she goes back in time and meets her parents as teenagers. And I love that. And it was kind of a neat murder mystery. I was sort of like, maybe I'm not really selling it because I was let down a little bit by the end, but I really did like the time travel aspect to this drama. It had like a really cool small town feel. It was neat that they were trying to solve a murder mystery in the past. It was because essentially they
do that in this too.
Yeah, they do it in this too. But this was like, because it was like a murder in the past with like, they couldn't solve with like the technology
right
that they had in the past. But then the guy from the future comes back and then they all think he's some sort of like weird, crazy person. And it's really good. I like that a lot. And then I still haven't seen Twinkling Watermelon, but
and
from what I've heard,
like people have been telling us, and I really do want to watch that.
Me too. I actually might, start that soon. And I heard that that's really, really good too. So I would say both of those, if you're like really loving time travel and you want to go on a time travel binge, those are probably pretty good.
Yeah. All right. So now is the time for our K-pop rec of the week before we get into our spoiler section. So Megan, what do you have for us this week?
All right, so Ateez released a new album, and y'all know I love Ateez. I am an A-teenie. I pre-ordered all 3 versions of the album. So the album is called The World, episode Finn Will. I don't know. Leah and I were like joking about. Yeah, you gotta like look it up. It's K-pop albums. Their names are getting weirder and weirder by the minute. But anyway. So the single is called the like main single that they released is called Crazy Form, but I am going to recommend a different song, and that's called Silver Light. That is from the album, and I like that song a little bit better than like the single. I love the single, but Silver Light just has like a really great groove and vibe to it, and it like I was like listening to it in the car and it like filled me with like warm vibes, and I was just like, I'm just into it. So I do recommend if you like Ateez or are looking for a new group to get into, this album was also interesting because this is the first time or one of the first times that they've done unit songs. So there's some songs in the album that's only by like 2 or 3 of the members together. And wow. I really love that. Yeah. And they gave the main vocal, Jongho, a ballad. And they've like, poor Jongho has like this beautiful voice, and they always give him these like bit parts where he has to sing high notes in these songs, but they like gave him a full ballad by himself, and I was really happy for him. I would check out Silver Light by Ateez.
Awesome.
If you enjoy our podcast, you have our patrons to thank, at least in part. Afternoona Delight Patreon allows us to keep creating content for y'all to enjoy. Thank you so much to everyone who is supporting us there. And not to brag, but our Patreon community is pretty awesome, and you can join at a tier that feels good to you. Gain access to fun perks like K-drama posts, monthly Patreon-only bonus podcasts, and even a live K-drama support group on Zoom. Because we know firsthand what it's like to have no one to talk to about those crazy plot twists, amazing characters, and all those feelings. And look, no one should have to walk that walk alone. So learn more by visiting afternoonadelight.com. That's www.afternoonadelight.com. And hey, while you're on the website, you can check out Afternoona Delight podcast merch, find links to book recommendations, bop along to our K-pop Recs, glow up your skin with K-Merch Recs, find all of our social media, and a link to our email so you can send us recommendations or feedback. And hey, while you're at it, why don't you pop over to Spotify or Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star review? It really helps with our discoverability. Kamsahamnida.
So, okay, here's the part that turned into a headache. Not in a bad way, but like, guys, if you have seen this drama, you understand how hard it would be to try and recall this drama like 3 months later. So we're going to dive into the spoiler section.
Oh God, Amy, just even scrolling through this.
I know. I was like, how do I do this? And I was like, the only way I can do this is by starting chronological and like summarizing. And
just really hang in there with us,
please.
Basically.
Yes.
And if you like this drama, then you're going to love this discussion because we're going to really get into it.
Right. If you have not watched A Time Called You and you don't want all of the mind-bending non-logic to be spoiled for you, which you shouldn't, you really shouldn't want it spoiled, then hit pause. This drama is a fast watch. Like we said, it's only 12 episodes, all under an hour. So you will not have to keep us on pause for too long because you literally can like hunker down for like a day and a half and get this done like I did. Because this is a very, like, it's a swoony, heartbreaking, but also uplifting romance that will stay with you for a long time after the drama ends. At least I think so. Otherwise, hop on board the train to brain hurty spoiler town. We have much to discuss. So, and I don't normally like recap stuff before we talk about it, but I feel like if you're listening and you haven't watched and you're just like, I'm here for this wild ride, like, I got to put this in context for you all,
Yeah, and also I don't think it would be very confusing.
Up. Yeah.
Well, if you were like, "What's your favorite scene?" I'm like, where would I even how would I even describe? I feel like you know what I mean? I can't just be like, "Well, this one scene where they kissed." Like it's like impossible. You need to like get into what the drama was about. So
right. And like, when Nam Shi-hyun is in Yeonjun's body and like
yeah, oh my God.
Yeah.
So much.
So here we go.
Yeah.
All right.
A Time Called You actually starts in the past, in 1998, where two school buddies, An Hyo-sep's yet unnamed character and Jun In-kyu, played by Kong Hoon, are outside a record shop with An Hyo-sep goading his friend to go inside and talk to the girl behind the counter on whom he has a crush. But In-kyu is super shy, as is the girl. So Hyo-sep's character is basically the only one who talks about ordering a cassette of a specific recording artist. Then we flash to the present, where Han Jun-hee, a very outgoing woman in her 30s, interacts with people at work. She looks exactly like the girl from 1998, but has a wildly different personality. She's heading out for the evening, and everyone thinks she's going on a date, but she's really going to the 1-year memorial service for her boyfriend, Gu Yeon-jun, also An Hyo-sep, who died in a plane crash and who she is still grieving. So at this point in the opening scenes, what did you think about who was who in each timeline? And were you confused?
Yeah, so I already said, like, I messaged you guys. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck's going on here. But like,
right, you did it. You were like, but the fact that you were still interested, I was like,
yes.
Okay, that's a good sign.
So like, my first thought, as would be, I think anybody's, if you did not read the blurb, is that was her in the past.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, oh, she just, like people can change, like especially people people go from like shy to outgoing all the time.
I was
people come
painfully shy in high school, and I'm way more outgoing now.
Yeah. So
like I did not question it for a second.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's really sweet.
Until I got to the end of this episode, then I was like, what? I don't even know what's my name. Like, am I in my body? I don't know.
Yeah, well, speaking of that, we can keep going.
Yeah.
So soon after the opening scenes, Jun-hee is sent a photo from a random, so Jun-hee, so that's like in the present, the outgoing woman in her 30s, is sent a photo from a random social media account. And in the photo are the 3 high schoolers from the record shop, posing like they are all besties. Jun-hee recognizes Yeon-jun, but knows the girl is not her. And let me interrupt what you have in the script. Yes. Because this is the thing. I'm like, oh, that's her in the photo.
Right.
Right? But then I was like, but maybe it's not. Like, did they just find another actress that looks a lot like her? Like, I was like, also not sure at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. But, okay, so she knows the girl is not her and decides to sleuth out the girl's identity to prove to herself that Yeonjun only loved her because she looked like his first love from high school. And if she can prove that, she thinks she can move on. So at this point, she's just like, oh, that girl really looks like me. Maybe that's why he fell in love with me.
Like, she was jealous.
Sort of.
She was definitely
she was jealous. But her sleuthing leads her to the owner of the record shop, which is now a coffee shop, who informs her that the photo is from 1998. And the girl in the photo, his niece, was murdered soon after the photo was taken. So 2 things are revealed here. The girl in 1998 is not our present-day heroine, as far as we know. The boy who looks like Yeonjun can't possibly be him, because Yeonjun would have been 11 in 1998.
So like, this is me at the end. I was like, what the hell is happening here?
At this point, I will just tell you right now, I didn't have a prediction. I didn't have a guess. I was like, I don't fucking know. I am on this roller coaster. I'm on the roller coaster though. Like, the safety bar is down. I'm going down the hill. The loop's coming, and I'm just bracing because I had no idea at this point. Did you?
No, I didn't. I had no idea. And the most fun thing when I had finished and you were first watching is, like, you kept messaging me predictions. I'm like, it's never going to be what you think it is. Like,
right.
You're never going to get it.
Okay. So yeah, at this point, neither of us knew, right? We didn't know what was going on. And I
was like, what? It's not him or her? Like,
yeah. And I'm pretty sure I watched like the first several, like, really quick. Cause I was like, one thing too is I kind of personally, if I just watch like one episode of a drama and then get distracted, I often don't go back to it. I really need to be fully invested in the world before I kind of like stop watching. So often I'll wait to start a drama when I have like a good 3 hours. Like, I'll like at bedtime, you know what I mean? I'll just like binge until midnight. And that's the way this one was.
So back in 1998, we find out that the Yeonjun doppelganger is Nam Si-hyun. He, like our present day Jun-hee, is super outgoing and basically tries to woo Min-ju on behalf of In-kyu. But of course, Min-ju falls for him instead, and Si-hyun rejects her because he's not going to go for his best friend's girl, right? Mm-hmm. And things get pretty bonkers for me here. Min-ju seemingly gets hit by a car at like the end of an episode, right? At the same time that Jun-hee, our present day heroine, is listening to a cassette tape in a Walkman, which is an anonymous gift she received while riding a bus. She falls asleep listening to the song on the cassette, Gather My Tears by Seo Ji Won. Mm-hmm. And when she wakes up, she is in Min-ju's body and thinks that Si-hyun is Yeonjun. But
and also, I'm sorry, let me just add. Okay, so Min-ju is the shy teenager.
Yes, Min-ju, shy teenager. Jun-hee, present day, outgoing 30-something woman.
Yeah. So there's a car accident, and all of a sudden, the body of Min-ju gets up, but it's Jun-hee in her body.
Except, and she sees Si-hyun and thinks it's Yeonjun.
Yeah.
Thinks it's her dead love. But then all of a sudden starts to get Min-ju's memories.
This was wild. The fact that she had Min-ju's memories? Why?
Then she started to think that her life is... Because once she finds out that Si-hyun is not Yeonjun, she's like, maybe my existence as Han Jun-hee was a dream and I'm really Min-ju.
Yeah, she's like, she doesn't know what's going on anymore. She's like, I guess I'll just be Min-ju. And I think that was kind of like that, like her, she's trying to rationalize what happened to her.
Because she has these very vivid memories, but it makes no sense because here's this guy in front of her who looks exactly like the love of her life who died in a plane crash. And his name is not even like remotely close.
Yeah. And you have in here, Min-ju was like in the head.
I read somewhere when I was reading a recap, they were calling it her brain cave.
Yeah. So Min-ju was like in the brain cave of her own body.
She's in prison. Yeah.
So she could like see out, and sometimes she would like, they could talk to each other. Like she could talk to, Jun-hee could like talk to Min-ju where Min-ju was in the brain cave sometimes. It was
It was two souls in one body.
Oh my God. Now that we are talking about it.
Two souls in one body and one had control. This is basically like Alchemy of Souls.
Yeah.
Without the fantasy.
Oh my God, this is wild. Now that we're talking about it, I realize how crazy this was.
I know, to say these things out loud, I feel like I need some psychiatric therapy.
Right.
Like, cause I'm not making sense, but this is the story.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So we've got two people in one body.
Right.
Okay. So Minju is basically trapped in her own head because Junhee has a stronger personality and took over.
Right. I mean,
if you have not watched this drama and you are still listening,
there's no way.
Slow clap to
like,
you. If you have not driven off the side of the road, if you're in a car,
I have better things to do than listen,
or just fallen down,
than to listen to brain caves.
Oh my God, I know. I'm exhausted just thinking about this.
Yeah.
Okay, so what follows is a lot. Mm-hmm. Junhee lives as Minju and starts to feel guilty because she's falling for Nam Shi-hyun because a part of her still believes that she's Han Junhee, a woman mourning her dead lover. Shi-hyun feels guilty because he knows In-kyu is in love with Minju, but he's falling for post-head wound Minju himself. Because she's a totally different person.
Yeah, now she's outgoing. She's courageous. She's just everything, which I feel poor Minju.
I know.
Honestly.
Well, and we'll get to that.
Yeah, we will.
Cause yeah. But to top it all off, we find out that Minju wasn't hit by a car, but was attacked and basically bludgeoned, mm-hmm. not to death. So somebody is out to possibly kill her. Mm-hmm. Did you think that we were going to have a murder mystery in this drama when you started it?
No, not at all. I did not see that coming.
No. So honestly, this drama is only 12 episodes. And even 4 episodes in, I was like, I don't know anything anymore.
Yeah.
But I loved it. I loved being in that place of there's going to be a big reveal that's going to be Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, right. Bonkers. And it was.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So before the big reveal,
yeah.
How did you feel about Junhee starting to catch feelings for her dead boyfriend's doppelganger?
Okay, so this is where I actually found this kind of interesting because he's 16, maybe? 17?
Yes.
So she's supposedly a 30-year-old woman. And
over 30.
Over 30.
Yeah, 30.
Mind. And she's falling for this 17-year-old, but
she does have the teenage memories.
Hold on,
I'm going to defend this.
I know. This is why it's not Goblin.
I know, because I knew you were going to go Goblin.
I know. This is why it worked, because she had. See, I feel like this is why they did the Minju. I'm not sure why they did the Minju memories. Well, there's a lot of reasons. Actually, no, I do know why they did the Minju memories. That she remembered, you know what I mean? But at this point, she was almost convinced she was Minju. She was oh, I'm a teenager. Okay, that other person didn't. Yeah, that must have been a dream that I was this 30-year-old woman with a dead boyfriend. That must have been a dream. So because she has Minju's memories in her, she's convinced she's also a 16-year-old girl. And in a way, she did act. This is so strange. It's a little bit like Mr. Queen, where he's two people at the same time.
Yes.
So that's the way this kind of was, because she was Junhee. She had Junhee's personality, but she was Minju, kind of emotionally intellectual. Well, she was really smart, but she wasn't 30-year-old woman smart. She was
she didn't have all her memories of being Han Junhee.
No, she was starting.
She didn't. The only thing she could remember of Han Junhee was Yeonjun, and then when Shi-hyun wasn't Yeonjun, she's oh, I'm probably this Minju.
Yeah, she still needed a math tutor. She's still, you know what I mean? She was a high school, so it worked because of that. But. Yeah. There was always something about her, though, that she seemed like an old soul. She seemed older than she was. But she had kind of in her mind, she was oh, I am Minju, and I don't know why I'm different. Maybe it was because I got hit in the head. I don't know. I'm just different. So it worked for me because of that. And I will defend this. I will, because if you watch the drama and you are paying attention, you're following what she's thinking, it's not creepy because she truly does believe she is like a 17-year-old girl.
Agree.
And she also doesn't like hit on him.
No, it's not.
She's
like,
just
there's no like grooming or anything.
No, she finds herself feeling affection towards him. And see, I this is the thing. I remember you had said to me that you felt like this was contemporary fated mates.
Yeah.
And I agree. And so everything about, and that's, again, this is why K-dramas do romance so well. Everything about this romance felt like they were like fated to be together. And
all the pieces click together because you didn't write an answer for this, so I'm going to make you answer it off the cuff because this is going to be so here's the big reveal.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not her dead boyfriend's doppelganger.
Right.
Shi-hyun and Yeon-jun are also not the same people. Explain. How the hell was Junhee in love with Shi-hyun the whole time?
Wait, what?
Okay, so I just asked you how you felt about her falling for her dead boyfriend's doppelganger, right? But it's not her dead boyfriend's doppelganger, right?
No, you're right. It was not.
Nam Shi-hyun is not Yeon-jun, except he is.
Yeah, he's...
Can you explain it, or do you want me to?
No, you go there. My head already hurts.
Okay, so here's the thing. Okay. So what we figured out, and what is finally totally clear, is that Junhee does bounce back to 2023, right? Mm-hmm. And it's when that happens that she realizes, okay, I did just time travel. Something about this song in this Walkman, I time traveled.
Yeah, because she listens to it again, and then all of a sudden is like back in her body, like a 30-year-old woman, and she's like, "Holy shit, that was real."
That was real. Okay. So what we find out through a series of events, because who gave her this picture? Who gave her this Walkman? Why is somebody like coercing her to travel back in time? Like, what is this all about? And we see this faceless man with a limp
with a cane
in the shadows, like
shadowy figure,
this man with a limp.
Yeah.
And it turns out that the shadowy figure, the man with the limp, is Nam Shi-hyun. And here's the thing. So there's a point, I think it's like, I had the year written down. Okay. So here's what happens. Nam Shi-hyun gets into a bus accident while listening to the same song on the Walkman. And this is like a little bit later, but not too much later in the timeline. But it's like after school, I think he goes to the US for a little bit, as people do in K-dramas. And then he comes back and he's on a bus and he's listening to the same song, and the bus gets into an accident and he wakes up in the hospital, which at first makes total sense because he was just in a bus accident. But people are calling him Yeon-jun and not Shi-hyun. Mm-hmm. And the year he finds out is 2007, where he was still in like the 90s, or at least the very early 2000s when this happens. And when he wakes up and people start calling him Yeon-jun, and he remembers that name from when Minju woke up and said her name was Han Junhee, and
he was Yeon-jun. Yeah.
And she tried telling them that she was a time traveler. They're like, okay, He's like, holy shit, she was telling the truth. I am Yeon-jun. I am it. So he vows right then when he wakes up in this guy Yeon-jun's body that he is going to make all of the things that she said already happened happen. He is going to find a way to meet her and fall in love with her, because he is in love with her. Right? He never got to really declare his love for her because he was trying to hold back because of InQ. But now he's in this guy Yeon-jun's body and realizes, I'm in love not with Minju. I'm in love with Han Junhee, who is in Minju's body, and now I have to find Han Junhee in this timeline. Mm-hmm. Does he remember where she said she went to college? Is that what?
I think he remembers where she went to school, and he somehow finds her, and then
he finds her in college and starts
and he pursues her,
and he pursues her. And you see like all these memories that she was having of like her time with Yeon-jun earlier in the drama. You see that he basically orchestrated their meeting because he's Nam Shi-hyun. And so basically what she learns in the present timeline, when she finally comes face to face with the shadowy figured limping man and sees him, and she's like, who are you? Are you Nam Shi-hyun or Yeon-jun? And she learns that it was Nam Shi-hyun the whole time.
Right.
That the guy she fell for back in 1998 was the love of her life who died in a plane crash. All the same guy.
Right. So I just have to tell you.
So it's not just time traveling people, it's time traveling body inhabitation.
Body swapping like crazy.
Not even swapping because there's the mind cave. True. So like when he was in Yeonjun's body, Yeonjun was still in his coma head.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, oh my God. So I have a couple of messages that I had written to Amy. Okay. And I have to tell you. So I
don't even know what I just said, by the way.
I just, you know, I'm getting confused all over again. I gotta be honest. All of a sudden, my head just started spinning, but I just want to read the message that I wrote, Amy. So I said, I'm on episode 6. I like a time, this is before the body swap back into Yun. This is before the bus crash. Okay. So I said, I like A Time Called You, but I really need something true. And some sort of revelation to come soon. I said, right now it's just a lot of school scenes. And I said, I just want some truth or some
that's right. I made you watch a school drama.
Yeah, you did. I said, we just need some sort of truth nugget. We seem due. Okay. And you wrote back and basically you were like, look, be patient. I get it. I get it. And then the next thing I write you, I go, he just woke up out of a coma as Koo Yeon-jun. I'm screaming. I said, I love this. Don't tell me anything. I just need to lose my mind in your DMs. And then I said, it's like Goblin-esque. And then I said, I think this is funny. I was a little bored in episode 6. Then episode 7 hit me like a bus on a wet road. So can I give, well, we didn't even get to this part. All right. I mean,
do whatever you want to do. It's fine. Do whatever. Cause I'm sitting here thinking, I don't even really understand. Cause then there's two Shi-hyuns because Shi-hyun in present day meets up with young Shi-hyun in Yeonjun's body. At the airport.
Yeah, so we will get to that.
Okay, but yeah, so I don't even know how to explain it.
I don't know how to explain it either. So yeah, this is like, so we know that Yeonjun died in a car crash, like in present day. So you have to realize we're still not in present day yet when he wakes up from a coma. This is like when she's in college and they meet. So this is what I said then.
Yeonjun didn't die in a car crash. She died in a plane crash.
Oh, sorry. That's what I meant.
Day. Yeah. The car crash, the real Yeonjun gets in a car crash and then Shi-hyun wakes up in his body.
So I don't know why I said this. So prediction, when he dies in the airplane crash, he transfers back into Si-hyun's body, which explains all his injuries from the bus crash. Is that?
Yes. Okay. So here's what I think.
Is that what I,
so stick
that's
stick
what I
with
said
us
at
here.
the time.
Stick with us here while we try and logic this out.
Okay.
So Nam Shi-hyun gets in a bus crash, but we don't know what happens to him from the bus crash because he wakes up as Yeonjun, right? He wakes up in Yeonjun's body.
Right.
But that Shi-hyun still has to go on and live if he didn't die in that bus crash, which he didn't. So that's the Shi-hyun who is the shadowy figure in present day with the limp. Because he's the one who lived out his life from the bus crash.
Yeah, and why does he not... What's the reason, though? Isn't he in a coma for a while after the bus crash?
I don't know.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, how does he...
I don't know. This is where I'm lost. Folks, those of you who are listening, if you just watched, please message us and tell us what we're missing here. Because that's the part that even in my researching last night, I could not logic out. Because there's the Shi-hyun who existed in his regular timeline, and then there's the Shi-hyun who time traveled.
So I think the reason like Shi-hyun didn't come to her for a while is he was like in a coma, and then he had like intense like physical therapy. Remember, he was like very
and then Yeonjun
injured.
had to die in the plane crash for Shi-hyun to go back into his own body.
Right.
Okay, that's what I think it is. Okay, because he has to have all the memories because it's one Shi-hyun.
God, oh my God. Okay. So speaking of explaining, the Shi-hyun Yeonjun body inhabitations brings us an unexpected cameo from Rowoon as the real Yeonjun's crush. This is also Amy's and probably everyone else's only major quibble with the drama. We get remember, this is Yeonjun. This is like not Si-hyun in Yeonjun's body. This is just an
innocent... I was telling Megan this. I was like, I have a major quibble that I can't tell you about
you can't,
until you watch it. Yeah.
So we get a sweet moment of two gay men admitting their feelings by holding hands in the car, only for them to crash and for Yeonjun to end up in a coma while his crush, our floppy-haired Rowoon, dies. How do you feel about this scene?
I feel like this drama was punishing the gays.
Yeah, I was so irritated. And you know what? As soon as it happened, I
It
was
was
like,
a pitch perfect drama, except for that.
Yeah.
Me. Like, that was it.
so you had said I have a quibble, but you're like, I can't tell you. And you couldn't. You couldn't have said, oh, well, the gay people die. Like, you couldn't have said that. I would have known. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, and the thing is, Leah, what did we just watch where they did the same thing?
No. Bronte watched this and spoiled it for Leah.
Oh, I know, but we had just watched another drama where they did the same thing. They like killed. Oh, it was
My Lovely Liar.
My Lovely Liar. So they, yeah. So I
they made the gay guy a murderer.
Yeah,
they made the gay character a murderer.
Yeah, I was like, you know, and then we have this, and I guess what pissed me off, and you too, because we said this. It was like they literally confess their feelings. They hold hands for the first time. They look at each other with loving eyes. And then they die. And then they die. It's like they're punished for confessing their feelings and holding hands in the car. And I was like, I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all.
No, and I don't think that was the drama's
It
intent
wasn't.
By any means.
But we need to be aware of what we're doing.
It's us with our Western progressive views looking at something coming from a society that it is more conservative and trying to sort of like, you know, just kind of eke in representation here and there. Mm-hmm. And I think that was probably the goal, was to have representation, but we got rid of the representation.
Yeah, can we not kill that?
Yeah.
Please. So that was my major quibble about the drama.
Yes.
And it was pretty much my only quibble. Other than it being confusing, it was my only quibble.
Yes. So.
Oh boy. Yeah. Okay, we're still not done. We're not even close, guys.
Okay. So there are two ways from here on out that both Shihyun and Junhee try to mess with the timeline. When Shihyun gets into a bus accident while listening to the same song and wakes up, you know, is in Yeonjun's body, he realizes that Minjun was telling the truth and he's going to do everything he can to, you know, basically make his way to Junhee, fall in love and have the romance that they're supposed to have. Right? He's determined to live as Yeonjun and create the timeline of their romance because he's in love with her. Meanwhile, Junhee, now knowing that Junhee and Minju are two different people and she knows that Minju gets murdered, she's determined to stop Minju's murder and to stop In-kyu from going to prison for it, because that's a whole other thing, is that In-kyu confesses to murdering Minju and it looks like he murdered Minju. Okay? Shit just gets crazier.
Oh my God.
From here. Okay. So Shihyun, in Yeonjun's body, after having his romance with Junhee, is ready to board a plane to New York because they basically have just had a falling out because she took a job in New York and he didn't want to split up. So he's ready to, you know, after she leaves for New York, he doesn't want to be without her. So he's ready to go chase her to New York, right? At the airport. But we already know, right? We already know that's how Yeonjun dies.
So we know he's like sitting there and he's going to die.
Ready to go die, right? Shihyun in Yeonjun's body. At the airport, Shihyun in Yeonjun's body is approached by full timeline present day Shihyun with the limp. Okay? The one who lived the timeline after Minju's murder back in Shihyun's body after all this, right? So I don't even know. And he tells
when they are talking, I was screaming. Weren't you?
I'm like about to throw
I was like,
up.
what is going on?
So full timeline Shihyun, who knows everything, right? Tells Shihyun as Yeonjun that he will die if he gets on the plane. But if he doesn't get on the plane, Junhee will never travel back in time, because the only reason she does is because of him dying and getting all these strange, you know, gifts and stuff. And then they will actually never meet.
Right. He has to get on the plane.
He has to get on the plane and die. And that's the only way that the real Yeonjun can get his body back too.
Right.
Yeonjun will die, but does Yeonjun die then? He doesn't get his body back. Like the actual Yeonjun would die?
No, Shihan has never, he's still in like the body with the bus crash. He's had a lot of crashes.
But I mean like the real Yeonjun then dies.
Yeah, he dies. Dies. Finally.
Okay. So yeah. So what does he do? He gets on the plane. Yeah. And you messaged me when this happened.
I do have to read these messages because this is really funny. So first I said, is getting on a flight you know will crash but you have to in order to meet the love of your life. Is that the new Tunnel of Love and the Flying Knives Hell Bridge? And
because it's not just that he will die.
Yeah, and then you said, yes, it is. And I said, but my only thought is, like, he knew the plane was going to crash, so, like, fuck the rest of the passengers, right? Like, fuck the other, like, 200 people.
But you were also okay
yeah, and
with
I was like, it's still romantic and I don't care. I said, I'm just going to pretend it's a private jet. And you said, how is he going to stop it from happening? Who would believe him? And then you said, I never once considered the other passengers while I was watching it. Which that is what I thought of it. I was like, oh my God.
Nope.
But then
and me, I'm just like, it's so romantic. He's gonna go die. But really, he's killing Yeonjun.
And then he warned
everybody else
zero people this plane was going to crash. He's just like, fuck it. I got to meet the love of my life. Sorry, people. But then I said, no one would believe him. We learned this from Final Destination.
There you go.
If anyone's seen the movie Final Destination, he has like a premonition that the plane is going to crash, and he starts freaking out. And he's like, the plane's going to crash, the plane's going to crash. And they're like, sit down, what the hell is wrong with you? And he's like losing his mind, and no one believes him. But he gets kicked off the plane because you cannot create a disturbance like that. And then some other of his, like, he's in high school, some other of his classmates get kicked off with him. And they're all so mad at him. They're like, I can't believe it. They were like going to go to this like trip to Greece it was like a great trip. And they're in the airport sitting, there at the gate, pissed off at him, and the plane takes off and blows up. And they're like,
and then Death tries to write it for the rest of the movie.
Saying.
Yeah.
So Yeonjun was just like, it's Final Destination. There's no point in telling anyone. That's what we're gonna. But it was just so funny when you said,
I'm like, I did not.
You're like, I
not
legitimately
even for a second. Didn't think of anybody else but Junhee and Shihyun.
He's just like in line boarding this plane with families, and he's just like, fuck it, I'm going to die. We're going to die, people. Like,
oh gosh.
I know.
I will suspend my disbelief for a good romance.
I know.
This was
in honesty,
great romance.
I was like, whatever. Yeah. I mean, it's like, I'm not going to hold it against the drama. It's fine.
Kill the gays, we get pissed. Kill 250 people on a flight.
That's so true.
Like that is what got me. I was like, hey, you killed 2 gay people.
If it was a plane.
Actually, you killed one gay person and one was in a coma.
If it was a plane full of gays, I would have said more.
I totally would have been outraged if it was a plane full of gays.
It was like a drag brunch, plane. Just kidding. But yeah, anyway. Oh my
gosh.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I brought that up. We just want to talk the whole time and not have brought that up.
It was so funny because I was like, oh, I'm a huge asshole.
It was so funny when you're like, I didn't think about that.
Didn't even occur to me.
And that's not usually something that would occur to me. Like, I don't know why. I'm the type of person that would just be like, oh my God, I wouldn't even thought about that. Like, I'm surprised I thought of it. Because normally that's not something I would clue into.
Nothing.
Okay. Oh my God. Okay, let's keep going. We don't have too much more.
No.
Okay. In order to prevent Minju's murder, which also happens due to a time-traveling murderer. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Jesus Christ. Junhee, Shihyun, and Inkyu decide the tape must be destroyed. The tape is what they were able to travel back in time with.
Yeah.
The tape must be destroyed so that no one, not the murderer who is inhabiting his brother's body to kill Minju, oh my God, or anyone else can ever time travel. Doing so will erase Junhee and Shihyun from ever meeting, but it will save Minju's life and eventually Shihyun's life, since the murderer kills him in present day too. Oh, I forgot about that. Oh my God. Because of his obsession with Junhee Minju. Shihyun and Junhee as Minju have one lovely day together before losing each other forever. So yeah, that is, I forgot about that. So oh my God. This is a lot like My Perfect Stranger. Yeah, so Shi-hyun does get murdered then. Like the one.
Yeah. So there's this character, Oh Chan-young.
Yeah.
Who.
Oh my God.
Who basically, it is in high school times, his body is being inhabited by his little brother from the future coming back to kill Min-ju because he's like
obsessed with her.
He's upset, but he's obsessed with like Jun-hee, I think, in present day.
Right.
But he's like a total like psychopath. Like he like, like we see him as a little kid, like he likes to hurt animals.
Yeah.
And like it was very like just creepy, like obsession with like,
it's like the opposite of save the cat. It's like kill the cat. Like you want to save a cat to like prove someone's a good person, and you want them to kill a cat to prove that they're bad, basically.
Right. And this is a bad person in every timeline, but he also like is using the tape to go back and inhabit his brother's body to kill Min-ju.
Right. So she basically has to save Min-ju and essentially Shi-hyun. She has to save both of them.
So two people are going to get saved.
Okay. But their love is going to die.
Right. But also, if they never meet, then Shi-hyun as Yeonju never gets on that plane. And maybe we can hope that in this alternate world that Yeonjun and floppy haired Rowoon don't get punished for being gay.
That's what we like to think.
Yeah.
So
again, going back to my Marvel obsession.
Right.
So for those of you who are Marvel fans like me, at the end of Infinity War and Endgame are the last two with like the main Avengers, right? And at the end of Infinity War, which is the penultimate, second to last, a lot of people get poofed out, right? Because Thanos snaps his fingers to get rid of like the extra universe population so that he thinks he's a hero because he's the villain who's the hero of his own story. And when he snaps his fingers, the way that people disappear is they start like basically turning into ashes and like floating away, which is exactly what happened. So they destroy the tape. In-Q burns the tape and the Walkman. Jun-hee wakes up in present day and she's in her apartment and the whole thing just starts to change. Like pictures start fading away. The decorations of the place start like her whole life. And she's watching it happen and she's sobbing hysterically. I'm sobbing hysterically.
Yeah. Cause she knew this was going to happen. She
knew this was going to happen and she experiences the loss before she forgets, which I thought was like tragic and beautiful. Like I just loved the way that they did it.
Me too. Really did. I loved that because they had one day, they were like teenagers. So it was like they both knew what was going on, but they were in the timeline of them being teenagers, but they both were aware. And they had like one day where they just like did fun stuff together. But it kind of drove me crazy because I was like, it was a little bit like the Alchemy of Souls. Well,
don't give away anything in Alchemy of Souls.
But there was like a scene in Alchemy of Souls where like two characters knew that bad shit was going to happen, but they had like one day to really like be in love with each other. And same thing, like I cried, the same thing here. But yeah, the fact that it like disintegrated all around her and that she's like crying and then all of a sudden she doesn't remember why she's crying.
Yeah.
Is wild.
Yes.
And I'm crying. Like I felt the loss.
I was a mess. Oh my God.
The romance, for as disjointed as this drama sounds, the romance worked. The romance absolutely worked. And I think that is great. It shouldn't have worked, I would say. I think it's maybe the two leads had really good chemistry. I will say that.
They did.
And that's probably one of the reasons it did so. It was just so believable that they cared for each other. They were very real characters. They were relatable. They were pretty likable. I think this was a drama that didn't want to give us an unlikable character as well to like, you know what I mean? Like this drama was like, we're going to give you enough. So we're going to just give you two likable people who fall in love. Cause they're extremely likable. And so despite all the timeline changes, despite all the craziness, I stayed for the romance and the romance delivered. It really did.
Oh, it was gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Like if you are looking for I think it was a pitch perfect romance. I really do. And there are people, cause as I was like, cause I was going in some deep dives, like after I finished this drama, just to like, what are people saying about it? And there are some people who are big fans of the Taiwanese original who didn't think that Anya Sup had the emotional depth needed for this character. And I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, I thought he did great.
Amazing. Yeah. Amazing. And she was unbelievable.
She had to carry the drama.
Yes. It was because it was her story.
It was her story. She absolutely had to carry the drama, and she absolutely carried it. Like, we kind of talked about how Rain or Shine was Lee Jun-ho's drama. This was Jun Yo-bin's drama. And she absolutely 100% killed it. I mean, I will think about her performance and the fact that she had to play three, like, you realize she again, it was a lot like Mr. Queen. Mr. Queen, same thing. Shin Hae-sun had to play like 3 characters, basically.
Yeah. Like An Hyo-sup was the same guy the whole time. He was. We didn't know that. But I mean, he actually was. He was always Nam Shi-hyun, right? I mean, he did play a teenager and an adult, but for most of the drama, it was him as Shi-hyun in 1998. All right, we're long on timer, but we have to talk about
the ending?
Minju. We have to talk about Minju and the whole suicide aspect of this because I think it's important. Okay. Cause Minju, at one point when Han Jun-hee goes back and she's trying to save Minju, at one point when Han Jun-hee goes back, she's the one in Minju's brain cave. Yeah. She's stuck and Minju is like, so Shi-hyun loves you. I'm going to live because she's there trapped in the brain cave. At first, Minju watching everybody like her better with Jun-hee's personality. And it is devastating to watch, this poor shy girl, this insecure girl who gets rejected by her first love, find out that everybody likes her better when she's really not herself. And so she decides that she's going to try and live as Jun-hee. Yeah.
But she can't.
She can't.
She's a different person.
Right. She's a different person. And so eventually she is so distraught over this. And she finds out that Chan Young wants to kill her. And she's like, do it, man. Yeah. Do it. Like, she goes with him to this abandoned building where he's going to inject her with something. I don't know if it was the injection that would kill her or if the injection would just paralyze her.
Yeah, I don't know what he was trying to do.
He was like,
oh, I forgot. He liked to like torture people. He just wanted to see what happened.
Weird. Yeah, he was very strange. And she was all for it. And she wanted him to kill her. But then at the last minute, Jun-hee comes back into the body and stops it from happening. And In-kyu's there trying to save her. And then Minju kills herself anyway, right? Yeah. And so do you remember, like, I do, but I wanted to toss it to you for a little bit. Like, so Minju wanted Chen Young to kill her. Jun-hee thwarts it or whatever. So then she kills herself. Right. Why does In-kyu say that he killed her rather than letting it be a suicide?
That's wild. Like, In-kyu loved her. For a long time, you weren't really sure if In-kyu was, like, on the up and up. They definitely threw in a bunch of red herrings to try to make you think that In-kyu was, like, the bad guy, but he wasn't. He just really loved Minju with all his heart. And so he was willing.
And he even knew when Han Jun-hee was there, he knew that wasn't the real Minju. Like, he knew. He could tell.
Yes, he knew all along. And I think he maybe felt like partially responsible. Like, I think he had some like guilt or something, but also as far as I remember, he just didn't want anyone to think she decided to end her life. Like, he wanted to, that's crazy to me though, that he would like be like, yeah, sure.
Well, she also said that she's like the only way people are going to remember me.
Oh,
is if something terrible happens.
I do remember that he did, because she was like, I want people to know my name. I want people to know who I am. And he was like, all right, I'll make sure they do.
Because if it was suicide, it would have been shamed.
They would have been shamed.
It would be shamed.
You're right.
And if she was murdered, she would have been infamous.
Yeah, you're right. That was it.
Which is terrible.
Yeah.
He wanted to give her that. He did. All she wanted was to be noticed.
It was hard though. I did feel for Minju. I would say that was the only part of the drama. That was like the part of the plot and characterization where I'm just like, she seemed to like, her like issues seemed to be like, okay, she's okay now. It's like, is she? Are we sure?
Well, and that was it. So like what you see, like, so in the present, we've got Chen Young with the cassette, and we've got like basically like a battle going on of like hopping back and forth.
Very
and back
Inception.
And forth.
Very
Inception, back and forth and back and forth. And finally, like the police catch Chen Young before he's able to go back in time and kill Minju.
Right.
And then Joon-hee saves her basically by in her head saying, you just need to have less expectations of the world.
Right.
So you're not disappointed. I was like, so that's her therapy?
I know. I was like, that's a weird lesson. Like, I remember thinking, I was like, is this where we're going with? Okay. I mean, I don't necessarily think
that's how she saves her from taking her life in the final moment. Because they keep going back. Like,
yeah,
Minju's dead. She's not dead. She's dead. She's not dead.
I mean, I guess like she's not wrong, but I'm not sure if that's what's going to help a teenager not fall off leap off a building.
She needs some therapy. She needed some therapy.
Yeah, like here's the thing. I will believe that Minju lives happily ever after if she gets some trauma counseling and some therapy.
Yes.
Because then honestly, what happened to her is like the romance is great, but that poor Minju was like a body. She was like a vehicle for a long time. And she was just in a brain cave. Can you imagine?
Right. And then, so what's going to happen now if the time travel never happens? Will Minju even remember that lesson? You know what I mean?
Well, I know, but I feel like she only needed the lesson because of the trauma.
I know.
You know?
Guys, I'm
right?
so tired. This drama is so exhausting, but I love it. I love it with all my heart.
Well, let's talk about the ending then.
Okay.
And then I think we're good.
Yeah, we are.
Other than, let's just also say, I'm fully going to believe that Yeonjun and Rowoon live happily ever after. Like, they hold hands. There's no car crash. I'm just pretending.
Somehow with the time travel never happening, they never crash.
I am pretending that the car crash never happens.
Because I really wanted an epilogue for them.
Me too.
I really did.
Me too.
Because, I mean, one thing I will say, Rowoon did that cameo for no pay. Just for his buddy An Yesup.
Because they got to hold hands together. And a very attractive couple. I
very
will say
attractive.
That. Very attractive.
Yes. I mean, try to make Rowoon look bad. I dare you.
Yeah. So the ending is ambiguous, I would say. We get to see Joon-hee and Ji-hyun meet as young 20-somethings, having forgotten their shared history that no longer exists. Are they fated mates that will fall for each other again?
Yes.
I say it, yes. Like,
God,
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, the ending didn't, like, I don't know, did you hear any chatter about the ending? Did people not like it?
I don't know.
I didn't hear anything.
I don't know. I mean, I like leaving it up to us to decide what happens. I like it like that because otherwise all you're going to do is you're basically like starting the drama over again, which we don't need to. We know that these two people will fall in love with each other. They've done it.
I feel like
they've done it more than once before.
They've done it. Yeah, they've done it twice.
Yeah.
Already. So they'll do it a third time.
Yes.
Third time's a charm. So I feel like the drama didn't have to give us anything else.
No.
Like, we know what's going to happen. We know that they're fated to be together. Like, the drama proved to us.
We just need to see their paths cross. That's all we needed.
And that's what they did.
Yeah.
They showed us that their paths cross, that they're like same school or something. And it's like, okay, great. Like, I know what's going to happen.
Like,
and I'm okay
and
with
it's
it.
snowing too, right? Like, doesn't he like follow her off of a bus? I think that's what it is. Like, there's just something about like, he's just looking at her like there's just something. Mm-hmm. And he just follows her.
It's going to happen. And I see now talking about this drama.
Right.
Now I'm like, I loved it, guys. Like, I feel like I hope we didn't make it more confusing. I mean, I will tell you straight up, it's very hard to explain. Like, Amy, you did a fantastic job with this script. I don't know where I would have started because it is extremely hard to explain.
I mean, honestly, when I sat down to write the script, I was like, I don't know what to do.
Right. But it is the romance was great. And that's why I was there. You know,
if you like fated mates, like we said, like they fell in love in college. They fell in love when she went back in time and was Minju. They're going to fall in love this third time. Like, it's the fact that like you can't keep these two souls from loving each other. And that's right. That is my butter. That is my 100% butter.
You can't keep the souls from, it's very much like Alchemy of Souls. The souls are going to love each other. They're going to be drawn together. And A Time Called You, frankly, is a good title. It's like anytime it's going to be called you. Anytime where I am,
it's you.
It's you. And so, yeah, I fully agree that the ending didn't even really stick out in my head. I got to be honest, because it just was like, it was happily ever after to me. Like, that was happily ever after to me. And because I know that they'll fall in love again.
Right. It's like the story's just beginning at the end. And I love that. I love that. Because we know how much these people are going to love each other. And I think that that's awesome.
Yeah. It's their souls are going to be drawn to each other no matter what timeline they're in. And
after having just like weeped until I had a headache when they just disappeared from each other, I like lost my mind. And this is why, Megan, this is why I really, really want you someday to watch Extraordinary You, because it has a scene like that.
Okay.
That just broke me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will do that. I don't know when.
Well, when we get, maybe that's the one I'll make you watch when we do our epised of.
Oh yeah, we have
you
to
need
do
to
that.
watch 3 episodes of this drama or whatever.
Leah's just going to be like, me sang for both of you.
I know. I'm already dreading.
We're already dreading watching me sang. We're so mean.
I'm like, so an office drama with no romance.
She's like, there's like,
and it's just interns.
she's like, they're interns and supervisors. I was like, oh, were there photocopies too, Leah? Like, what? We're so mean. Oh, she's gonna be so pissed.
Mean.
She's gonna be so mad.
Leah, we love you.
We're kidding. We really
and
are.
I do trust that you have very good taste, although we don't always, love the same thing.
Yeah.
But I just laugh every time she brings up me saying, and something that she brings up about it, and I'm just like, every time you mention it, it sells it.
Every time. She doesn't sell it to us.
And we know there are those of you out there that love me saying too.
You have to realize we're also just teasing Leah because it's fun.
Yes.
Like we're not, this is about us teasing Leah, not teasing me sang. It's really teasing Leah. It's just that she doesn't sell it to us very well. I didn't think about what I'm going to ask her to watch. I don't know. And I feel like with you,
I feel like she's going to make us both watch me sang. I think that I want her to watch See You in My 19th Life, maybe.
Oh, that would be fun. Yeah, make her.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Because that was one of those things where we loved it so much. Talk about like fated mates too. Mm-hmm. We loved it so much and we're like, we know you're going to like it once you watch it. And then she just never did and never wanted to. And she felt the same way about this drama. Mm-hmm. She's like, I don't know why I won't start it. And so I kept giving her an out, and I even gave her an out yesterday because I knew her daughter was sick. Yeah. I'm like, look, we can push this. She's like, no, I'm watching it. And then she messaged us tonight. And she was like, I'm actually really bummed I can't do it with you because I am very happy that I watched this drama.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So I really wanted to play part of Gather My Tears by Seo Ji Won for this pod, but I can't play music because it's copyrighted. But I do want to give one last shout out to that song.
Yeah,
because I have to admit,
well, we'll put a link to it in the show notes because that is, I mean, like talk about like a drama, like really sticking with something. Like that was the cassette that Shihan was going to order from the record shop. And that was the song that let them travel through time.
Yeah. Every time they wanted to travel back in time, it was the Gather My Tears cassette tape. And what was funny too, I think it was like a single. Remember how they used to just put single songs on a cassette? And I think that's what it was. It was just like a single.
A cassingle.
Yeah, a cassingle. And it's funny because like the Black Parade by Chemical Romance, like the opening, it's like bow, 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 bow. That's the way this was. It would be like dun. Da, 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 da. And I was like, oh shit. It's
coming.
Shit, it's coming.
It's very triggering now.
It was. The opening, if you've watched this drama and you hear like the opening piano to Gather My Tears, you're like triggered. Like for real. You're like, I'm going to go back in time now.
Shit's going to happen.
It's so great. So I did, and it's a great, at first I was like, really? This song is, I don't know, it's just kind of a song. And then by the end I was like, like as soon as I would like hear the song, I would cry. It was like, it's like Pavlov's dog.
Seriously.
So thank you for sticking with us. Through this
I'm
podcast.
sorry if I made anybody's head hurt as much as ours does right now, but
we tried.
But
that's
honestly,
all I can say.
Like, I feel like I should have rewatched the drama before talking about it because that's how long it has been. But
I don't think that would have.
I know, but like, if you are here at the end of this episode and you have not watched this drama, first of all, I applaud you for sticking with this, but it truly is one of my favorite K-drama romances. Like, as far as romances go, it was so well done, so emotional, so good. And And there were some light moments in this drama too. Like we didn't really get to talk about much of them because so much heavy stuff went on, but there was some definite fun and games.
Oh yeah, there was humor. This drama had a lot. Like almost everything. It truly did. So I don't know. If you made it through and you haven't seen it, go watch it or maybe do a rewatch. Let us know what we got wrong, because I guarantee we got
we made some
wrong.
Mistakes.
We
made some mistakes.
Yeah, we made mistakes. Just please, we tried. We tried. Okay, we tried. Oh God. Okay. Well, anyway, we made it without Leah, but she'll be back next week.
Yes, and thank you for listening, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Annyeong.
감사합니다. Thank you for listening to Afternoona Delight. Where can you find us outside the pod? Head on over to afternoonadelight.com. That's AFTERNOONADELIGHT.com. You'll find links to all our social media, our book recs, K-pop and K-skincare recs, and if you want even more Afternoona Delight, because really who doesn't, you can join our Patreon, where you can choose the patron level that's right for you. Join in daily K-drama conversations, listen to bonus podcast episodes just for patrons, and participate in our monthly live K-drama support group via Zoom. We can't wait for you to be a part of the community. Until next time, annyeong!